We present Mirrorverse, a proof-of-concept system that enables live tailoring and reprogramming of video conferencing interfaces to different meeting situations. In Mirrorverse, multiple users' presence, content and tools all coexist in the same tailorable meeting space. Within the system, we can recreate traditional gallery and speaker views of people's videos. We can also replicate the spatial metaphors of modern video conferencing. Through scenarios, we demonstrate the novel capabilities that emerge from reifying key primitives of video conferencing as tailorable elements. The first scenario demonstrates how live and recorded video can be dynamically recombined in a remote yoga class. Yoga instructors John and Adam are planning the sequence of poses for their next classes. They use the storyboard template to add multiple recording tools to the room. John starts a recording of a pose by dropping his video into a recording tool. After he is done, he stops the recording and it is displayed in the tool. They repeat the process until they have a sequence of 4 poses. After a short discussion in the end, they decide to discard one of the poses. Satisfied with the sequence, John starts preparing the virtual yoga studio for the upcoming class. He creates 2 camera elements of the same stream and crops them individually so that the top one shows his vertical postures while the bottom one shows his horizontal postures more clearly. The yoga session starts. John spots that several class attendees are doing one of the poses incorrectly, with the risk of causing a knee injury. So he quickly adds a recording tool and demonstrates the pose again. After recording it, he skips to the part where he shows how to align the knee correctly, and uses his live video to point at parts of the pose in the recorded video. The second scenario demonstrates how users can script the routing of audio in a multi-room meeting. In preparation for a virtual workshop, the organizer Anne needs to arrange the online meeting space. She prepares the space with 3 breakout rooms. Then she tailors the audio routing to hear muffled sounds from the breakout rooms so that she can monitor the ongoing conversations. The workshop starts, and after her introduction, the participants split up into breakout rooms. She can monitor the overall activity through muffled sounds from the breakout rooms, but she realizes that she cannot follow the contents of their conversations, and moving into the rooms is too disruptive. So she adds the doorway tool, which allows her to listen in. When her cursor hovers over a room, the participants in that room are clearly audible.
But if you say so, I think that makes sense, and we can try to do it in that way.
When the breakout phase is over, Anne adds the broadcast tool, which allows her to talk to all participants while holding down the broadcast button. The final scenario demonstrates the ability to do live reprogramming of a tool to support impromptu discussions in a stand-up meeting. Roman is the project manager of a small design team. He's preparing for their daily stand-up meeting by restoring their usual template. During the stand-up meeting, he uses the highlighting tool for didactic references to indicate the next speaker in the status round. An impromptu discussion emerges between the engineer and the designer around an urgent design task. They rearrange the room and add the designs into the meeting. They can now repurpose the same highlighting tool for didactic references to the different designs they are discussing. They discover a need to be able to make didactic references to groups of elements rather than single elements. So Roman asks the programmer Melissa to modify the highlighting tool accordingly. During a quick coffee break, Melissa opens the editor and makes a few small changes to the tool so that it can highlight multiple elements at a time. This supports the team in their negotiations of the final design. After the meeting, the participants agree that the current workspace with their new didactic tool would be useful to keep for the next stand-up, so they decide to store it as a template for future reuse. With these example scenarios, we have demonstrated a range of novel capabilities that emerge from the ability to do live collaborative tailoring of the virtual meeting space at different levels, both before, during, and after meetings. Mirrorverse is a proof of concept that this kind of tailoring can be realized, and an important step in maturing video conferencing platforms for the future of hybrid work.